Let me say good morning to everyone, and I certainly want to start off by thanking Pastor August for opening up his church, Bethel, and hosting us this morning. Very, very much appreciated. And I've been here a couple of times before, but this is the first time I've had an opportunity to kind of look around. And let me tell you, very impressive operation over here, and especially with his dental office that he has right here in his dental office that's been here for the last 8 years. So my compliments to you, Pastor August, for what you're doing here at Bethel. Let me thank all the pastors for being present. If you're a pastor, just raise your hand. Let me thank all of you for being here this morning. Look, it's been 18 months since Harvey. It's been 18 months. And one of the reasons why we've asked you all to come is because you are closest to the people in these communities, because they're in your churches, not just every Sunday, but several times during the course of the week. And when people have been devastated, impacted by Harvey, and it's been 18 months, and they hadn't gotten any help or very, very little help, they can become, they lose hope. They just say help is not coming. They have forgotten about us, or they're just frustrated, okay? And if you were already on the margins of life prior to Hurricane Harvey, you've just been pushed down even further. And so, unfortunately, it takes a while for federal assistance to get to the people who are impacted. And even though, let's say on the housing assistance, it was voted upon favorably over a year ago, it's only now, in the last few weeks, that the dollars have been made available to the impacted areas, Houston, Harris County, and people in the surrounding region. Up until this point, believe it or not, most people who've gotten any sort of assistance has been through the faith-based organizations, nonprofits, businesses or corporations that have stepped in, the local relief effort that we put together, and then they may have gotten some assistance from FEMA, and FEMA may have just given them just enough to make their homes habitable. I won't even say livable. Or FEMA may have turned them down, saying you flooded before, you didn't get any flood insurance, so you don't qualify now. They just may have been turned down. You will be hearing from Tom McCasland when I finish. Tom, Director McCasland, is over the Housing and Community Department, and he's leading the initiative. But since the feds voted on it, now the city has access to about $1.3 billion for housing repair, reconstruction, and not just for homeowners, but in some cases for renters as well, because we had a lot of people that were impacted who were renting. In fact, there was about 125,000 single-family homes that were impacted, and over 200,000 apartment units that were impacted in the city of Houston. So now, in working through with the feds to the state, we're now at the local level. And we had to fight very hard to make sure we didn't get tied up at the state level because that would have added to the time that monies would become available. So it's right at $1.3 billion that's now available to now work to help to get people's homes repaired, in some cases rebuilt, and in some cases reimbursements, and Tom will talk to you about all of that. What we're needing from people now is to go and fill out a survey. It doesn't take long, and we're setting up neighborhood centers all over. There are 4 already up, and I think there will be a 5th one. But to fill out the survey, if they were impacted by Hurricane Harvey, and it's not a very complicated survey at all. Tom will talk to you about that. Or if family members or friends, if they know of other people who were impacted, fill out the survey. And we're needing pastors to encourage their members, if they were impacted by Hurricane Harvey, to fill out the survey. And the reason for the survey, it just helps us to direct people to where we can assist them. Okay? Instead of them running all around the place and getting frustrated all over again, we're trying to eliminate that frustration. We don't want to send people someplace and they're upset and they're turned down, for example. So that's the purpose of that survey, is to kind of identify for us where their needs are, and then for us to assist them in getting them the help that they need. Now, in some cases, people may have gone on and made repairs to their homes already. And a portion of these dollars is to also to serve to reimburse people for some of the expenses that they've already incurred. So some people may have just decided, by whatever means, they made repairs in their homes. Well, it's possible that some of that can be reimbursed. And we're trying to minimize having to depend on receipts. So we try to just make it as easy as possible for people to get assistance. And then lastly, let me just say, a portion of these dollars, we're trying to drive it to the most vulnerable populations first, okay? People who didn't have any resources or limited resources. We're trying, 80% of these dollars are driven to the most vulnerable populations. 20% is not based on income. So whatever the income may be, if they got flooded, if they made repairs, for example, they qualify. But 80% is driven based on vulnerability and need. People who are already on the margins, they've gotten pressed down, they didn't have many options. And if you know, for example, there are a lot of seniors who've gone to the store, for example, and purchased a whole lot of bleach to try to kill the mold themselves, okay? So we want to address most vulnerable, because what ends up happening in many cases after a disaster is sometimes is that those who already have means, they get stronger after sometimes. And then those who didn't have much means, they get poor after this event because they were already on the margins and they just pressed down. So that's what we're trying to address. And the reasons why we've asked you to come and be a part of it, because you see the people more than we see them. And they have a direct relationship with you. And when people have been waiting for 18 months, the attitude is they ain't gonna do nothing, okay? So, and all of these dollars, let me just say, dollars that we do the work and then we get reimbursed from the feds, okay? But the dollars are now available, at least that 1.3 billion is available. And now it's time for us to get it out as quickly as possible and get it to the people who need it.
Let me just say, in starting out, you just heard why I am so thrilled every day to wake up and have a boss like our mayor. When you do affordable housing work, you're oftentimes not the most popular person in town. But this is a mayor who's provided the moral courage, the moral leadership, who, as you heard, puts the last first, and ensures that our most vulnerable residents are going to get the help that they need. And so I am thrilled to be here and thrilled to be at the point where we're ready to start rolling out some of these programs. As the mayor mentioned, a lot of you have residents who have already done work, may have already completed the work that they need on the home. And they're eligible today to go ahead and apply and move forward to get reimbursement on the work that they've done. Because we don't have all the money that we want, we've done this in categories. If they are low income, 80% area median income for a family of four, that's about $60,000. So if they're at that $60,000 or less and they've done their work, 100% reimbursement. If they're middle income, that 80 to 120% area median income, we'll give them a 50% reimbursement. And if they're higher than that with no cap, we'll give them a 25% reimbursement. So that's a total of $80,000 on the first, on the low end, $40,000 on the high end as a cap, and $20,000 at that highest level. And we are quickly moving that out. I updated the mayor last night. Our goal, there's lots of pieces of this, bureaucratic pieces that we're working through, but we still believe we're on track to send the first checks out by the end of this month, and get the home repairs started in the first homes by the end of this month, and then begin ramping up from there.